Hello drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com and welcome to this completely free full video song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the song Love Shack by the B-52's, drummed by Charley Drayton. This is a great song for beginners. In fact, this was one of the first few songs that I was playing along to when I first started drumming, because you can sort of get through the entire piece from start to finish without too many complications. There are a few surprises in here, but we'll talk about how we can simplify some of those things for a completely new or beginner drummer. As always, I've got the full PDF you can download from my website for free, all 3 pages, a fully transcribed PDF drum chart. You'll find a link beneath this video, takes you over to the website, you get to download them. Have these printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to make things a lot easier for you to understand. And then while you're over the website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97 is over 650 full video song lessons, including hundreds of beginner song lessons, where you get access to all those lessons online, plus all the drum charts, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the lesson. If you want to make your own song suggestions, you can go over to my Facebook page. You'll see a post pinned to the top of the page, others where people get to write their song suggestions in the comments, others get to vote on them, and the most popular songs got chosen for future lessons, or get chosen for future lessons, just like this one was today. So we start off with a bit of a curveball for you beginners out there, because it's kind of an interesting intermediate sort of drum fill, but we can definitely simplify it. What you're hearing at the beginning of the song, really, if you ignore the ghost notes, which I'll talk about in a second, we're hearing 3, 4, and that last high tom there is actually quite quiet in the mix. You definitely hear the first one, but if you listen carefully, you can hear the second one. 3, 4, and right, left, right, right, crash. Up to speed, we get 1, 2. Dum, da, da, dum, dum. Now, if you want to take it to sort of next level and actually play what's on the recording, and if you listen very carefully, you can hear them. We're playing some ghost notes in between with our left hand. And it actually turns to sticking around a little bit. Instead of playing right, left, right, right, as I played for you a second ago, we're actually going to play right, left, right, left, right. So those 2 snare drum notes written in brackets on the E and the and of 3 just mean play quietly as you can. You don't want to play them loudly, otherwise it changes the drum fill to something else. It's 3, E and a 4. And so if you're comfortable with playing doubles with your left hand, comfortable with playing them as quietly as you can, then you can play or replicate the drum fill on the recording. 1, 2. But if you want to take out those ghost notes, they're too complicated for you, just play the simplified version. Right, left, right, right. So then we go into the main drum beat, and it's really a 2-bar drum beat that gets played throughout the song. Very, very simple. We've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm sure you've all played that drum beat before. The second bar of the 2-bar drum beat is slightly different. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the bass drum on the and of 2 there, rolling into beat 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and pretty much, apart from a few bass drum changes, that's our drum beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The only difficulty here is keeping your right hand loose, your grip, not loose, it's flopping about in your hand, but don't grip too tight, because you're going to knacker your right hand out before the end of the song. So you want to sort of keep loose, limber, because it's not really a slow tempo, it's sort of an intermediate sort of tempo, 133 BPM. So if you're holding the stick too tight and you're trying to hammer out those notes, you're not going to have enough energy to get to the end of the song. So keep loose, don't worry about playing too loud, just keep it light, and you should be okay. So that intro drum fill, 1, 2. Those ghost notes were a bit loud. Let me play that a bit quieter. That was better. Or the simplified version, 1, 2. Okay, then we go on to the next line. Move that out of the way. And we just basically get our 2-bar drum beat being played again. So 2 bars of the 2-bar drum beat being played twice for that second line. Then we go into verse 1, Crash cymbal at the beginning of the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 1, 2, and 3, 4. That 2-bar gets played another 4 times. Then the next line, we get another 4 bars of that 2-bar drum beat. And then on the third line, I've written here, note male vocals enter. So you just know where you are in the song. We're still in the verse technically, as I'm going to call it. But at that third line is where you get the male vocals come in. And we get, I'm just checking here, yep, 4 more repeats of that 2-bar pattern. So nice and simple so far. Chorus 1, we'll get on to in a second. For now, I'm going to go back, I'm going to play the first 2 lines of the intro and the first line of verse 1, and you can hear that repeating 2-bar drum beat being played up to speed without me talking over the top, so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So for chorus 1, we continue with our 2-bar drum beat most of the time, but you can see that we start to get our first variations now. So actually the first 2 bars of the chorus is the first bar of the 2-bar drum beat, very simple. So he doesn't always play the and 3. Then we get this build-up section where the bass drum plays on all 4 beats, and then starting from beat 2, the snare drum joins in with the bass drum on 2, 3, 4, while the hi-hat is slowly opening over 2 bars. So without the opening hi-hat for now, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can see I'm just playing snare bass together on 2, 3, 4, and then the second bar on 1 as well as 2, 3 and 4. Now on top of that, like I said, we've got this crescendo, so a little bit of technique required here, because you don't want to have the hi-hat open straight away. You want to gradually open it. That sort of technique where my right foot, my hi-hat foot in this case, is slowly opening over the length of 2 bars. So in context, you want to practice this as perhaps a 4-bar loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. The hi-hat's then going to close on the next line. Up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you really can't get that gradual opening of the hi-hat, then you can sort of half open it at the beginning and then sort of fully open it at some point in the groove. It won't sound as smooth. So you did get a gradual opening, but at least you get the opening of the hi-hat for those 2 bars. You could open it fully at the beginning, in fact. Again, it won't sound as nice. So if you really can't do the gradual thing, just open it on beat 1 of the first of those 2 bars. Like I said, we then have the hi-hat close, that's the little plus symbol on the next line, with the crash cymbal. We go back to our 2-bar drum beat for that second line. The third line, we get our next variation. So the first 2 bars of the third line, standard stuff. But then notice in bar 3, we get the bass drum not falling on the and of 2, as it would normally in the second bar of the 2-bar beat, but actually on and 1. So it feels the same because it's still coming after the snare drum, but instead of after beat 2, it's after beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So look out for that variation. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, compared to 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3. Very, very subtle. If you want to play this note for note for the entire song, copy exactly what Charlie's doing, then you've got to look out for those little changes of the bass drum. But for you total beginners out, this is what I used to do. Just play throughout the entire song, unless apart from the breakdown, which we'll get to in a bit. That'll get you through it, but look out for that and have a go at it. So those 2 bars there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and we get our next drum fill idea where he comes off the hi-hat, 4, and to play the high tom. You'll play it like that. 4, and 1 into a crash. Your right hand plays 4 and then crash. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. I'm playing over here, so I'll be going this way, you'll be going this way. Don't get confused by that. Your right hand is still doing the movement, comes off the hi-hat to play the high tom on the and beat 4. So those two bars together. Okay, so let me now play for you 3 lines, all 3 lines of chorus 1, up to speed. Here we go. So for verse 2, there's really not much to talk about. I'm just going to look out for where the differences are. First line standard. Second line, notice bar 4 has the and 1 idea at the end of that second line. Look out for that bass drum being played there instead of the and of 2. Last line of the page, 2 more bars going back to your standard groove. Onto page 2, where we get chorus 2. Very similar to chorus 1 in its structure. We get the first 2 bars, again, just basic drum beat for both bars. Same build-up idea for bars 3 and 4, so exactly same as chorus 1. Next line, bars 3 and 4 are just to simplify it, the first bar of the 2-bar drum beat, so look out for that. No extra bass drums going on there. Third line, we then get bar 4 with the and 1 idea. So coming out of that bar 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 into verse 3 and 1. Verse 3, we get our next drum fill at the end of the line. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. So 4 16th notes, right, left, starting on beat 4, taking up the space of beat 4, going into a crash. Up to tempo, it's quite fast. Or wherever your crash cymbal happens to be. Again, try... What I do with these drum fill ideas is make a 2-bar loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2. And a little tip here, which I didn't mention before, is after a crash cymbal, I'm not rushing back to the hi-hat for the and of beat 1 after a crash. 1 and 2, 1 and, I leave a gap, 1, 2, because that crash cymbal is ringing out. I don't feel the need to rush back to the hi-hat for the and. You can come back on the hi-hat on beat 2 instead. So it's up to you how you sort of use it. Or if you feel more comfortable keeping that right hand constant, then feel free to, well, as the drummer does on the recording, I believe, come back to the hi-hat for the and of beat 1. But it's totally up to you. So 1, 2 and 3, right the crash. Okay, then we got to the second line, and the build-up we had before from the chorus, now we get the snare drum starting on beat 1 of the first bar, bar 3. So the only difference there, apart from the end we'll go into in a second, is the fact that we start with the snare drum on beat 1 this time. Interesting change. Again, the hi-hat opens over the length of the 2 bars, but the snare drum doesn't start that quiet. And we get this 4 and, again, remember we're over here, your right hand comes off the hi-hat to play the and of 4. Same tom idea as we had before, and 1. Hi-hat then closes on beat 1 of the next line. So we've got a lot going on there in those 2 lines. Let me now play for you both those lines up to speed. So on to line 3 of verse 3, nothing new to talk about there. Line 4, bar 2 has the and 1 idea. And then bar 4, the last line of verse 3, we get this crash cymbal and snare drum on beat 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. That gets used a bit later in the song as well. Now, I've written the hi-hat on the and of beat 4 afterwards. Same idea as before, where after the drum fill you hit 1, don't feel the need to come back till beat 2. When you hit the snare and crash on beat 4, don't feel the need to play the hi-hat on the and of 4, because that crash was ringing out. No one's going to miss that hi-hat note. You can come back in on the hi-hat with your right hand on beat 1 of the next line. So you could play. That's absolutely fine. That'll work just as well. So if you want to play it that way, fine. If you want to come back to the hi-hat for the and of 4, up to you as well. So 2 bars there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Both ways there. Guitar solo, just 4 bars of our standard groove, and then we start a new verse, verse 4, and you can see the end of that line, bar 4 of the first line. 2 bars of just 1, 2, 3, 4, but bar 4 has the 4 idea, snare and crash together on beat 4, look out for that. Second line, bar 2 has the and 1 idea, bar 4 has the snare and crash, including the and 3 idea in that bar, 1, 2, and 3, 4. As you can see, bars 4 of lines 1 and 2 are slightly different to each other with the bass drum placement. But get just beat 3 on the first line and then and 3 on the second line. So look out for those subtle differences, again, if you want to play it note for note. Don't beat yourself up if you miss these occasionally. Like, oh, wow, I've missed that bit. Don't worry. They're not essential for the song. Okay, so then we go on to chorus 1. And perhaps the most complicated drum fill starts in bar 3. We've got the build-up as usual. Again, this time with the snare drum starting on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the second bar, 1 and 2 ands. So before we had 4 and, now it's 2 ands. And then keep your left hand over the snare drum. You're just going to play 3 and 4 ands. So 4 snare drums. But notice the bass drum doesn't stop underneath. It's going 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 with the gradual opening 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I'll let the hi-hat ring out for the rest of that bar when I'm playing that snare drum fill, then closes on beat 1 of the next line. By the way, that left, you could play right, left, you could play and 3 and 4 and, but then you come out with your left hand. So use whatever sticking you like. I think the left, because it's not so fast, makes a lot more sense because your right hand just played the and of 2. And also, if you want to play the floor tom instead of these high toms, and on a normal kit, you might have the high tom here, the medium tom here. You could play the medium tom instead. Doesn't matter what tom you use. So let me just play that line for you, because that's an interesting drum fill without the mic on. Here we go. So on to the next line. I'm going to stop pointing out where these differences with the bass drums are. We've learnt all the variations. Line 3, we start to get a new idea where the snare and crash, the crash is being played on beats 1 and on beat 2. So this one I would definitely leave the gap between the crashes. So you get 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at bar 3 of the third line. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I've written it as 1 and 2 and. Come back to the hi-hat in between, because that's kind of what you hear on the recording. But it makes far more sense, and give your right hand a break as well, just to play 1, 2, 3, 4 and come back to the right hand on beat 3. I'm also using 2 different crash cymbals. If you've got that, great. If you haven't, fine, just use the one crash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. If you wanted to play it, come back to the hi-hat between, fine, you could play. It's not so fast that that's impossible. So then we go on to the breakdown, and I've written here, note, percussion and hand claps can be heard in the background. So the first 4 bars, it really is just the drummer playing 8th notes and bass drum on all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So no snare drum on beat 2 and 4, just the bass drum and hi-hat sort of bringing the band down, hence the breakdown, that's what I've called it. 1, 2, 3. Starts with a crash. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after the next 4 bars of that line, I think that's the point where you start to hear some hand claps and some cowbell stuff going on. So it just remains, the kit drummer is just continuing with that idea, bass drum on all 4 beats. But then in bar 3, we get these floor tom notes. 1 and 2 and. So you want to use your lowest tom for this. So your right hand to be over here on the hi-hat, you've got to then bring your left hand over. So a little bit of crossing involved, but it's not so awkward. If you've got your kit set up properly, your floor tom's not so far away, it shouldn't be. You should be able to reach with your left hand. So just come underneath the hi-hat, play those 2 notes on 1 and 2. So we get 1 and 2. It's a little bit easier for me because I'm over here. Well, actually it's not, because I then get clicking sticks. Your 2 hands will be much clearer of each other. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and again 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. If you want to come off the hi-hat and play, for example, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or even 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, to give those knocks even more power. That's probably how I would play it. I would play, if I was playing it live with the band, I want everyone to hear those notes. I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's up to you, but on the recording you can still hear the hi-hat being played underneath or over the top. So that's how to replicate that. Simple as that. Then we go to the next line. We get 2 bars, just bass drum on all 4 beats. Bar 3 has the dum-dum idea again. And then bar 4, same idea as this really, but moving up to the high tom, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. The high tom being used, or a higher tom being used on 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're then going to go into that idea, the Batman idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3. So bars 3 and 4 of the second line, we get 1, and I'll play this up speed for you in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. That continues onto the 4th line, and the 4th bar, before going into that last line there, is a very subtle open hi-hat. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So again, you can leave that out, no one's going to miss it, but it's there on the recording. 1, 2 and 3, open, close, and 4 and. Then we go into snare, bass and crash. 1. Yo, what? 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and snare, crash and bass together. 1. And I've written here, note, the band are not keeping time here. Come back just after the vocal rusted. So I think she sings Tin Roof Rusted. And yeah, I've written it as 3 bars, but really there's no time there. It's waiting for her to finish her vocal. So we get Tin Roof Rusted. And then we come in back, and it's going to occur on the beat 4 or whatever you're counting with a flam. So you can just play floor tom and snare drum on beat 4 to give that note a bit more power. But what the drummer does is he plays it as a flam. 4, 1. So that's both hands on the snare drum, slightly separated. It's not 2 notes, it's intermediate technique that called the flam. You can look it up on YouTube for loads of different lessons. If you can't do that, then just play floor tom and snare drum together. That'll give not the same sound, but it will give that note more power. So you get roof rusted. That'll have the same effect, but on the recording, it's a flam on the snare drum. So now let me play for you. I won't play the whole of the first line of the breakdown. I'll start halfway through the line, so bar 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'll play all the way down to the rest of the breakdown. Here we go. So for the outro, which is really our last chorus, we get 2 bars of the groove, crash cymbals on beat 1 of bars 1 and on bar 3. Look out for those crash cymbals. Second line, we get the 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning of that line. And then bar 3 has the and 1 idea at the end. And bar 4, we get this slow down effect from beat 3, the end of the song. 1 and 2 and. The hi-hat opens for 2 and. 1 and 2 and. It then closes with a snare flam on beat 3. And this next bit is really optional because it's kind of like a miniature drum solo outro. It's not really in time. I'll get onto that a bit in a second. Let me just play this bit for you first. We get 3 and 4 and. Flam on the snare. You could play that instead if you wanted to. 3 and 4 and. Bass drum. Crash. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We get this definite slow down from beat 3 to that crash on the next line, the last line. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So bars 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Or 3 and 4 and 1. Now this next section, the last line I've written here, note these final bars are not really in time with anything. The drummer's ever so slightly, ever so gradually slowing down, and you're not really counting anything, you're just following the number of notes. And roughly on beat 3, and again, don't worry about counting this, we get just some triplets. So I'm not going to go over to what they go over in this lesson, what they really mean. Just know there's 4 notes, right, left. And underneath it, the crescendo, meaning we get this sort of effect. Diddle-da-da, diddle-da-da, building up in volume over the length of the 4 notes. Right, left. Then up to your high tom. 2 notes here, 4 notes here, 2 bass drums, another flam, or that, talk about that already, then a longer pause, crash cymbal at the end. So we get 1, something like that. Let me play bar 3, starting from bar 3 on the second line. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. If you follow along to the song, you'll hear how it's very gradually slows down. So before we finish, let me now play for you the last 2 lines of the outro. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download the free PDF from my website. And like I said at the beginning of the lesson, while you're over there, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And for £97, you get a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's over 650 famous and popular songs where, just like this lesson, I teach you the song from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart with each of those lessons. And I've got over 100 beginner song lessons up on the website already. So if you're a new drummer, there's plenty of stuff to get your teeth stuck into already. As a thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills, and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.